All right.
Yes.
All right.
What's up?
Here we are.
Yo.
Welcome back.
Hey guys.
Buongiorno.
You got Jasper on the camera over there.
New time for everything.
We've had a bit of a break from the bopper.
One of the guy who usually records the bopper is also now going to be on the bopper, which is pretty exciting.
It was starting to get a bit rude.
We just had him sitting in the corner. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
They would feed me vapes and $1 coffees, and had to, non-disclosures every time I entered the room and exited.
The vaping isn't cool, is it? Fuck.
Yeah, I'm done with the vaping. It sucks.
You gonna smoke cigarettes again?
Sucks. No, I've never smoked ciggies.
Back to Durries?
Nothing. Yeah, just meh.
Seamus, you used to
Vaping sucks. Though
sink tinnies and smoke ciggies. Now you're all vape juice and seltzer.
No,
I don't
no,
drink
no, no.
seltzers.
What the fuck happened
up
to
with
you?
this seltzers?
Seamus
What the
is-
fuck happened to you, man?
Seamus is like the equivalent of me having this brick phone because he's still on the jewels.
It's all the same shit.
Nah, it's different. The Kubies,
That's
all
LA,
these-
baby.
The jewels are cool.
You ever been out to
kinda
LA,
old
baby?
school. They're kind of like a tip of the hat back to the first days of
If you
vaping.
say so, you're our special guest after all. Or one of. There's still one
Seamus,
to be.
I'm back in.
Yeah.
Around
Thanks,
the
buddy.
corner.
Thank you.
No worries, mate.
No, I tried the seltzers for a bit because I was getting fat. But the seltzers don't get
And
you
now
drunk.
what's happening?
Well, no, because the problem was I wasn't getting drunk, but I was still fat. So I was like, I might as well just get drunk as well. So if you just do vodka, you just get drunk.
If you're
as well.
getting drunk all the time, you are getting fat.
You're
It's
getting
about
fat?
The eating. It's about the eating you do when you're drunk.
It's it's that age
that
as well.
funny.
We're getting
Settle
on.
down out
We're
there.
getting on. We're getting old. The tires popping.
Oh, speak for yourself. There, comfortable crab.
Oh,
I'm an old
goodness.
man. Anyway,
Where are we? Where are you, Tasca? What are we doing here? What the fuck are we
We're
doing
backstage at Festival Hall in
here?
Melbourne.
In Melbourne.
We are about to do the last show of ours. Oh, I know.
The comeback show, the redemption show.
the Reddit comeback show. To finish the Australia, I guess,
segment.
leg of the tour.
Yep.
I'd say we need at least 10 songs, unless it's for
Yeah.
it not to be another refund.
Yes, 10 songs minimum, I think.
Dot. We'll see how
You
we
need
go.
a clause. You need a clause when you sell a ticket.
Maybe.
Like, think about it. Like back in the day, you go see Jim Morrison. He'll probably sing half a song and then pass out. I don't think they were asking for refunds back
It would have been pretty boring, Even though I'm a big,
Yeah, it
I'm a
would've
big
been
fan
like-
of the Doors,
like
it would have been
now
pretty
we're
boring.
Now, like, it was so cool, man. Like, Jim Morrison would come out and he'd like do this thing where he'd sing like half a song, pass out. Oh my god!
And you get his dick
Really,
out.
it'd just
Oh
be
my
like-
god,
it'd
those
just be
leather
like,
pants are so hard.
What the fuck is this loser doing?
We'll see how we go. But hey, maybe we should pray. We are in the house of God after all. Festival Hall, aka Hillsong, correct?
Oh,
this is now
okay, well, yeah.
House of Hillsong.
They do have
We
the
have to
countdown
say that.
timer as well.
Okay,
Did you notice that?
Okay,
the
let's not-
countdown to Christ.
They have the countdown to Christ.
Really?
Yeah. I noticed last time we were here, it was like 4 hours until the
Until what?
wrath.
Until he is risen?
Anyway,
What do you mean?
Time for the rap.
Well, until they all rock up to Festival Hall and do their thing,
Okay, well.
Good musicians, though. I'll give them that.
love.
God.
They love a countdown.
I love
Well,
singing
you
and
were
dancing.
born into it,
I
right,
was
Tasca? And
born
now
and
you're all
raised Christian boy.
peace, love, and chaos and hail
Yeah,
Satan.
well,
and
that's what
Doom
you're bringing up
juice and all that
before.
shit.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Should we
Let's
commence, guys?
let's commence.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
We got someone here, don't we? We got someone special here.
Yeah.
This week on the Big Bopper, we welcome our very first international guest. Yet he is by no means a foreigner. A full-time stud yet part-time model, this strapping young fella found his way on Australian soil after chasing the love of his life, yet soon found it was the Australian hearts that were chasing his. With very little time on these shores, he's already earning his mark as one of the hottest new live acts in town. With a rig like a UFC fighter and the emotional intelligence capable of making a psychologist cry, we welcome the delightfully humble demigod himself, Mr. Dante Knows. Get up, rise.
Oh,
Rise.
you were there the whole time, brother.
Rise.
How we doing?
We're doing.
It's an honor to be on the Big Boppa, to be on the other side of things. How we feeling, boys?
How was it feeling under the table?
It was feeling nice, man. I bust probably 3-4 farts. I don't know. There was a few.
yeah.
I was getting some vibe.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I
if we
heard
were
a
picking
few.
them up, but they were pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, no stench, though. Thanks for that introduction, by the way. I don't even think my mother could have introduced me better than that. Hobson?
My brother.
Thank you. Wow. Sweet
All true.
Jesus.
All heartfelt. Facts.
Yeah, I farted really, really hard when you said when you said the MMA fighter thing. Oh, it took me to a whole different world.
So you laugh and fart? Is that what happens? Like when something's really funny, you fart?
That's what happened. Yes.
Yeah, that's. It's a sign. It's really funny though, right?
It was hilarious. It was very hilarious. I want to say this as well while we're here at the Backstage of Festival Hall. As those of you on the other side may or may not know, the Sticky Boys have been doing nothing but helping us in every way, shape, or form before we even came to this country. But let me not even just say helping us. They took us on board as family instantly. They've spoken to my mother. I've spoken to their parents.
Hugged their parents.
Hugged their parents.
Mama Dukes.
Got a lot
The
of fun
mom
with your
Dukes.
Shout out Zora.
Shout out Zara. That's my
Ali?
mom. That's my mom number 2, 3, and 4. Shout out Ali as well. But anyways, yeah. I just want to say, while we're here, before we crack these things off, man, I'm truly appreciative of this round of fellas, and I never was one to try to take in what I see. I just take in what I feel, and I've been feeling nothing but genuine love from y'all, and I got y'all back forever.
Vice versa.
Hey.
Hey, it's an honor and a privilege, brother.
Joe, bro.
Okay, bro.
But
Love you,
Alex,
man. How you feeling today, though?
man,
Festival Hall. They.
how have you guys? How have you guys? How have you guys found the tour?
2.5.
How have you found Australia? How have you found New Zealand? Overall, what's been the vibe?
Well, from my perspective, I'll say this being the second run us doing with you guys.
Of course, because there was the arena shows back in
100%.
2019,
And this
and that was just Dante and Tasca on the decks.
100%.
But now
the
we have
two-piece.
Spitmas. He's having a
Corpse.
He's having a nap over there.
Yep.
If he had a nice little snore on him, we'd mic him up. Yeah, 100%. So, like, I feel like Australia is beautiful as it is. Every city that we end up in has its own little energy to it, its own little bit of sauce, if you may say. Its own, like,
if you say
McFlurry.
so, man. I don't know. Like, if you're in America, I feel like each state you're in, there's sauce. I feel like Australia, you're in Sydney, and it's, how you going? And then
Yeah.
you fly the fucking 7 hours to Perth, and it's still, hey, how you going?
Schnitty.
I know
You
you
go to
guys
RSL.
I think it's but like
Kind of the same
There's
shit.
some shit. There's little things going
Yeah,
on.
when you
Little-
go,
but it
like,
ain't
when-
much. It
when-
ain't much.
I feel like when you return to a place like for the 10th time, you notice you start to notice the small little things.
You should try the vegetable pasties in Adelaide.
Yeah, shit like that.
Oh, speaking of that,
I do like them.
How
you know.
about
Is that a thing?
tapas in
Toppers.
in
In the long way.
NZ.
The Topper Tour.
Yeah,
I
Tasca.
remember every single servo.
For those of you out there that don't know, haven't been in New Zealand, Topper is a nice piece, a square of lasagna, nice little rectangle piece of lasagna.
I feel like
deep fried,
and then they just
Served
just
cold
threw-
at the servo.
yeah, servo.
And Paddy would go to every single servo stop from anywhere to anywhere, would buy every single flavor, and they've got some ridiculous
They're getting
flavors.
creative.
Lasagna.
There's like, yeah, I feel like they started with the lasagna and just went, let's deep fry anything.
Yeah.
And he'll just get like
Topper,
8 of them.
sure.
Yeah, he'll get like 7 or 8 of them and just throw them around the tour van. It was
It's
disgusting, but low key.
Quite a lot of that ended up in your mouth, though, which was
well,
much respect.
I'm a man,
Someone had to do
I'm
it.
a man of poverty. I'm a man of poverty. I'm a man of a very low bank account. And, you know, when there's food
A humble man of
Take a
God.
free
you
feed.
got to
Yeah, he's gotta
capitalize. Yeah.
Yeah.
You also got mistaken for Dizza. Did that happen? Tell us about that.
Oh.
I feel like he got mistaken for every member of Sticky Fingers. Oh, Seamus, nice to meet you. I'm like, it's the guy over there. No, that's not Seamus. I'm like, well, how the fuck am I Seamus?
As long as you look like a fucking sunburnt wombat, you're in for a shot to be in our shitty band.
I was like, it's the it's the fame and the glory, not the gut, right?
That too.
That's what you're comparing.
The gut's coming, buddy.
Fat cunts anonymous.
Is it worth backtracking a little bit more, Dante? Like, how did you come across Pat first, right? So where did it all begin?
For those who don't know the story. All right, so where did it all begin?
Max Fish.
Pat and I met at a bar in New York called Max Fish before Pat was probably the second or third Australian I've ever met in my entire existence.
Who was before me?
Roman Jody.
Jody Just. Roman Jody.
Jody Just.
Yep.
He owns that brand. Yeah, check it out.
Shouts.
He was the first Australian I ever met on the first day of modeling. And that shit took a very, very different turn than now to where he moved back to Sydney and we're both living here now. And every time we see each other, we just laugh for at least 3 minutes at the irony and the randomness of the situation. But Pat and I, we met in Max Fish.
On the Lower East Side.
Lower East Side.
R.I.P., correct?
R.I.P. It's called something now. I think it's just called The Orchard. Whack. I'm not trying to hate on y'all, but that's whack. Bring it back. But anyways, they probably already got rid of the Supreme pinball machine too. You know what I mean? So they have nothing leveraging them. But anyways, shout out to the bar across the street. They should be doing better now. But we met. That was my local spot.
What is the joint across the street? Fat Tony's Gutter Ball Inn.
I swear to God, I've never been inside because Max Fish. I was so loyal to Max Fish. I wouldn't even let it touch my peripherals. I wouldn't even let the bar across the street touch my peripherals. But I'm going back home soon. And I'm tell you what, it's gonna touch a little bit more than my peripherals. That bar.
On Monday, right?
Yes, sir.
For a whole month.
Whole month locking in. But back. Really quick, let me just skim over this. Met at Max Fish. Kept in contact after you went back. You were on tour, yeah. So you went back home. Kept in contact via IG, and you came and tapped back in New York when you were on tour again, touring the States, and we got to tap back in person and. It's very, very, very much needed.
I think we were threatening to, make some music, do something for a number of years. But
100%.
Between Sticky coming back to New York and us hanging out.
Yeah.
And then also, of course, you meeting, Bianca.
Everyone. Yeah.
Love of your life on that fucking fateful day on the rooftop.
100%.
Who was also from Sydney.
Yeah.
So there was almost like this kind of, and then, Roman Jody, who's of the fashion world, which is the other half of your hustle too.
Yeah.
There was almost like this trifecta of like a force like pulling you into the southern hemisphere. Yeah, serendipity.
Down a shithole Sydney.
Serendipity.
I got a interesting, like, now I'm hearing this side of the story from your point.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine, like, the Sticky Boys touring the world multiple times. You're always going to, come across people who write songs and be like, I make beats, I write songs, blah, blah, blah. What drew you to, because, it could have just been like, you're in Brooklyn, you meet Dante, I make music, blah, 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 you meet him, you get an Instagram, blah, 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 next place, you know what I mean? And you don't keep in contact. I'm like intrigued as to what drew, because,
What kept the flame alive?
I've seen how, like, the brotherhood is so tight between, all of you and Dante, there's a connection. I'm just curious, what was it, like a spark or?
Sometimes you just get that feeling.
Organic.
Yeah. So you had that feeling. Because the feeling's still there.
It was a similar. To be honest, it was a similar feeling. What this crossed my mind, you saying that, was when I was hungover as fuck back in 2006, 2007 maybe. I was 17 years old, and when Dizza first discovered the garage in Beaker's backyard, and he was saying, "Let's have a fucking jam, G," and I was like, "Nah, fuck that," and I was just like sprawled out on the couch. But then an hour later, I came out and saw that Beaker and Dizza had actually cleaned up the garage and like got like a bunch of instruments together and a couple of amps.
Gator Butte days. Sorry, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
100%.
Definitely going on in a big way.
Just wanted to
1,000,000%.
Yeah. But walking into that garage, you got that feeling, that there's there's something there, something worth
Yeah.
pursuing. I guess you get the
So you got
feeling.
the same- yeah,
you
yeah,
kind
I know
of
the feeling.
already know without knowing what it is exactly.
Yeah.
But I got that feeling that night, us hanging out at Max Fish. I was like, yeah, there's something there. I don't know what it is.
It
but
wasn't just another
it's
something-
conversation
Yeah.
to be forgotten, you know?
That's it.
Yeah, 100%. And
That's awesome.
that's what would have pushed us to keeping in contact as well. Just, I mean, I feel like just when you naturally just attract the people around you in a sense of people who have a similar mind state or similar interests and whatnot, you know what I mean? Like me meeting Pat's mom, Seamus's mom, Freddie's mom, I can understand. I see my mom in all of them, and I don't mean that I'm just like, oh yeah, yeah, my mom too. No, I mean like I see traits that is in my mom, and you know what I mean. They all share the same. They're all
Energy.
very different women in their own. You know what I mean, but
Supportive energy.
very supportive energy, and I feel like
Or
it takes
raised
a
in
lot.
certain way or something.
100%. It's Tasca's mom as well, Sue. Shout out Sue. Her birthday was in July. You know what I mean?
I remember over in Perth, for, every night off on this tour that you had, you hosted Pass the Mic, and we'll come back to Pass the Mic and what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you were hosting Pass the Mic over in Perth, and that crowd, I don't know, that crowd was a bit stiff, you know? It
Yeah,
felt like
stale.
everybody was there just for their friend and their friend alone, but there wasn't much love and energy in the room.
Yeah.
And you were trying to get that going a bit more, and you said, how about a shout out for your mums? And just crickets.
Quiet. Never heard in
And
my
then
life.
you kind of low-key lost your temper. You're like, no love for your moms, no love for Mama Dukes.
How you not gonna love Mom Dukes, man? You gotta love Mom Dukes. I'm like, does everybody love their mom in here? Crickets. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Come on, man. It's at least a 90% chance everyone had a mother in that room.
Is it an age though where they feel they don't want to?
They were,
Oh,
that they
no.
love
Well,
their
they-
mum.
I think
They're
it's
pretty
a meth.
tough, yeah, they're pretty
I think
tough.
it's a meth in Perth.
Not
like
the meth. The meth.
The meth. No. When I
Nothing
say
like the
that,
Adelaide meth. That's the good meth.
The meth
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
you stiff.
loveless.
sleepless. Yeah.
Fucking love.
Sleepless in Subiaco.
A question I wanted to ask, which I'm sure our listeners will want to hear too, is just like a very simple question, but
Yeah.
if you haven't walked in the boots, you can't talk it. And that is, what do you reckon the fundamental difference between living in Brooklyn, New York, and living in Sydney is? Or like, what it... you can answer a whole bunch of these questions at once.
Yeah.
Like, what do you miss about New York? What do you love about Sydney? What do you hate about Sydney? What do you hate about New York? Any of those, however you want to go.
So I'll start with the differences. The differences, I'll say this, and I don't mean to sound vague, but in my opinion, almost everything is polar opposite. The air in New York is different. The food, obviously, is different. Population, I mean, like everything, the way people react to you, motherfucker, tell you, suck my dick out the car window because you walk too close to his car. You know what I mean? Over here, so you walk too close to someone's car, they stop and they wave at you and they smile and they go on. You know what I mean? It's a whole different energy, whole different state of mind here. But that's why I love it, man. Like, there's nothing but positivity, and positivity breeds happiness, and as it should. And also, I want to say, like, my main reason for coming here at first as well was to visit my partner's parents, Bianca. So I came here to visit her parents, and then from there it just like that trip that was supposed to be 11 days turned into 2 months. You know what I mean? Around that time, I don't know if you can recall, around that time as well, Patty was managing me. Jack Rule was on the booking on the back end.
That's right.
And it was
Shout out to the Music and Booze Company.
Yes, shout out Music and Booze. Shout out the Rules. And yeah, man, like it was so every time I came here, I got nothing but love, nothing but positivity, and I would go back home and I'll be real, like it was grimy. It's grimy, you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, you have some fun in New York, but like Gotta watch your back if you're from there.
I liked how you talked about drinking and the difference between when you, because you didn't really drink that much until you came here.
Oh, yeah.
But you described it in the way that people have a drink in America. They have a sip of beer. It's just a. But in
Yeah.
Australia, it's a.
Yeah, Australia was the first place I saw the deep breath after the first sip of the V Bub. The first time we pulled up, I'll tell you a story. We went to Merrickville Bolo. Spitty's sleeping right now, right? But he may overhear this. We go to Merrickville Bolo. Shout out to them as well. We get a nice a jug of VB, 2 Chris glasses out the fridge as well. They treat us nice over there. We rest them down. We pour up. I have my sip. I go, all right, I'm drinking now. And then I look across, and Spitty has his sip. And the way he licks his lips, man. The way I could see the alcohol running down his trachea. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. And then at the end, he just, like that's all he was waiting for.
The foam in his moustache and shit.
It was 10 a.m.
hard day's work, eh? Oh, fuck, I needed this, man.
You know what I remember, right, was last year when I came out of rehab for that month. And I basically came straight back to the studio because this was a point where there was a lot going on for your EP and beyond. There was just like sessions every day. And I remember I came back to the studio and like 10 minutes of being in there, I said something along the lines of, all right, you know, boys, Dante, like I'll just address an elephant in the room. Like if you guys want to drink, it's fine. Like you guys drink and I'll just stick to water.
Oh, that was
it's all good. I don't mind. You guys can drink. And then Dante looks at me and says, motherfucker, you're the one getting me drunk.
He went sober. I went sober too. I regained my soberness.
Yeah, same. I also did as well.
Yeah, you became a marathon runner around that time too. I remember. Yeah.
You gotta have something to go to.
Just in
You're
case
not
you
drinking piss. There's gotta be something.
Just in case
to
you
hold
don't.
on to latch onto.
Tasca's going to end up the producer like Dan Hume. He's going to be fully sober, fully vegan, running triple marathons.
The Rick
Oh,
Rubin.
I can already see it.
Either that or you're just going to
I
completely...
already see it. Like,
Crash and burn, motherfucker.
I see it like 29, so I've got 3 more years of this fucking shit, and then straight to that.
Nah.
Hey, Tasca. All right, so we have current format of Tasca, you know, who's been through a lot, like everybody. Let's go back to the beginning of Tasca, a part of this story. So where does it begin for you two?
We always have 2 different. Well, I feel like we have 2. It's like the gospel in the Bible. There's 4 different accounts, and they all fall say
fucking
different
bullshit.
shit. Exactly. I believe Dante's more than me because I'm a pisshead. But
From my perspective, so I'm gonna say this right. I don't want him to seem like I don't want it to make it seem like he's influenced me on all these bad things, but I get my first cap from Patty, right? So I'm still on my first trip to Australia. We're at Bad Friday, another Music and Booze event. Shout out to them. I meet Tasca. I don't remember meeting Tasca. I remember the hair and I remember the striped shirt. If you know this man, he is good for a striped shirt.
The motherfucking hamburger.
And he's
I
good
always-
for the hair at all times.
I always thought that you had this like crystal clear interaction.
Oh,
word
hell
for
no.
word. Oh, so it's
I was
just
off a
vague-
cap. I didn't even know what I was in.
Okay. So you just remember that there was the hair and the shirt.
I remember the hair, the
Okay,
shirt, and I
okay,
remember
I feel
having
better,
I remember having conversation, and then I remember us
'Cause
having.
the reason why I don't remember any of that festival is I found this magical esky backstage because one of my friends' bands was playing.
Oh, that
and
was
it just
you.
had Cooper's green and Cooper's red tinnies, or maybe just Cooper's green tinnies. And no matter how many you drank, you just come back and it'll be refilled. And I just was like,
Cooper's Green, also another beer of God.
About to
Yeah,
say,
yeah, of
God
course.
bless.
and they had the snags on the left too.
they had the
Word.
snags. So me and Joey P just parked up and just stayed there the whole day and was like, and as soon as we'd like finish the esky, someone else would just pour more in. We're like,
Is the Bad Friday we played at?
Nah.
No, this was the Bad Friday that we last minute got Dante to play at the very end, correct?
Yeah.
These are
Charlie
things-
Man.
With Charlie Man DJ.
I heard
wow.
about
Holy
you
shit.
because apparently you were
in the
You were
artist
like,
room performing.
someone came up to me and was like, there was this rapper from New York who was
Off his fucking head.
standing on tables, apparently standing on tables
Peeking,
and
by the way.
rapping his face off to everyone. And it was just the artist area, and everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? And it turns out it was Dante.
And then what happened?
We had a few run-ins, here and there, just like, yeah, good to meet you,
Splendor in the
blah, blah.
grass, right?
But that was the big one.
That was the big
I
one.
remember I was there with my friend Cam.
The way you described it to me once upon a time, it sounded like a scene out of Wolf of Wall Street.
It
where
was,
it's
and it was.
I fucking drop everything and I work for you. How about that?
It was like that.
Smoke crack together.
I was with a mate of mine. He's like, I got some fucking good cocaine. I'm like, okay. Get stuck into it. I went, wow, this is good. And then the first thing I said, I'm like, up there going. And I was to see Dante in the distance. And I walk over him because I went to one of Dante's gigs. And I was like, this guy's good. I need to be 100% in this. I just walked up to him and said, Dante, what's going on? And he's like, what's going on, my brother? And I'm like, fire your DJ, fire your producer, fire everything you've got. I'm your guy. And he's like, okay, sweet. I don't know. You're just like, yeah, cool. I'm with it.
Because meanwhile, I think Dante was having a bit of a sliding doors moment because we'd offered you the arena tour.
Yeah.
That you were still living in Brooklyn, and you were about to start an apprenticeship as an electrician, correct?
Oh my god!
And it was a bit of I either go on to be an electrician or I go to Australia to do this tour.
Yeah, my mom wanted me to be an electrician so bad, so it was the choice of. Do I make my mom happy for the moment and ruin it for myself for the rest of my life? Or do I make her sad for the moment and make myself happy for the rest of life, which then will convert her, as Christianity does, to happiness?
But you can come back to being a Sparky, but can
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
at any time. At any time.
That'll
It's
always
like
be
riding
there.
a bike.
Never say no.
But if you fall off the bike, you die. That's the only difference.
Wasn't like the security guard like at the school like you're like, bro,
Oh, yeah.
what should I do, man? Should I go to Australia on an arena tour or go into class? Like, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, it really felt like a movie because I said, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'll start it for my mom, and then I'll go to the teacher and I'll give him a beautiful story. Tell him, hey, I'll be back in February. Can you just put me on pause until then? And he goes, why? And I tell him why. I'm going on tour, Australian tour. Come on. And he's like, nah, I can't do that for you. I was like, thank God. I walked downstairs. I asked the security guard one more time because, you don't want to disappoint Mom Dukes.
Oh, it's hard.
I asked the security guard. I give him my scenario. He tells me, why are you still looking at me? What are you still doing here? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, sick.
And next thing you know, a couple weeks later, I was in Australia, and I've been here ever since.
You never went home,
Never
motherfucker?
went home, yeah. I'm afraid to go home. I don't want to turn into a Sparky.
His mum's
No, but
waiting
it
at the
sounds
door
like,
with the tools. Like, come on, motherfucker.
Yeah,
I thought you were going back to, get some chopped cheese and hang with Mama Dukes and just
Definitely.
chill the fuck out. But from what I'm looking at your schedule, it looks like you've just booked out sessions nonstop for when you're back home as well.
Yeah.
And you're going to LA and you're going to Toronto.
Yeah.
So just fucking maybe
Wait, are you
consider
going to
giving yourself a
Toronto?
break sometime too.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I have a couple
Now,
days
you
off.
got Tasca coming as well, huh?
Yeah, Tasca's coming through to New York as well.
Fucking hell.
It's gonna be crazy. Man.
From the
It's-
big banana to the big apple.
from the big banana to the big apple. So for those who don't know, Tasca is from Coffs Harbor, and the big banana is
the big banana.
Coffs Harbor's.
Monument.
There we go.
That's what we are known for. We are not known for anything but this big banana that you can walk through and...
And punching on at Finian's Tavern.
No.
No, that's
a
Port
hoey
Macquarie.
moey.
Port Macquarie.
Hoey moey.
It's the same fucking. It's the same
they,
place.
they get loose there, eh?
We're
Hey,
we were playing the beer garden at Hoey Moey once, and
Sunday sesh.
mid set
Sunday
over the
sesh.
fucking PA. Excuse me, the blue Subaru license plate X0793. Could you please move your carts illegally parked? Was he like? This next song's called fucking straight. I don't know, fuck this. And your cunt's just like brushing past you with schnitties and stuff, just hitting your guts. Just fuck, all right.
I remember the first time I ever heard of Sticky Fingers. The first time I ever heard when I was 18, playing one of my first DJ sets at a club, and all my friends didn't go because they're like, "No, there's this band playing at the Holy Moly on a Friday called Sticky Fingers," and they all went, and then they all and they were like, "Oh, we'll all come see you like later at like 11." They all came early. I'm like, "What happened?" They're like, "I know the band went on stage. People threw bottles." It all erupted.
Yeah, it was everything but the chicken wire fence. Straight up.
You need that shit. Those
I was like,
half the staff from fucking Harvey Norman still in their uniforms and shit. It's cutting sick.
I was like, so wait, everyone was throwing bottles at them. I'm like, why? I'm like, you're pissed. You throw shit at the band. I'm like, no wonder they didn't give a
That
fuck.
was also the gig that we got the classic line heckled, right?
Fucking play something we know.
And then
Bit of that going on.
I think we entertained the sentence. 'cause
I was
it's
ready
so
to go
beautiful.
with some chisel. I had some cold
Yeah,
chisel.
we started
My
trying
baby.
to play K-San, but it all
It all fell to
fell
shit.
apart as usual with this band of ours.
I remember
I was
at the end
rearing to go.
I remember the end of that show, Beaker's just loading out because that's what he was loading the Tarago. Everyone else is just getting blind while Beaker's doing it by himself. And I just remember him packing the last amp, and there was this little kid, maybe like 10 years old, and then Beaker looks and goes, "One day you can have all this."
Turn around. Our green room was a fucking like an entrance. It was like a hallway. And
Yeah,
it was like
I know
a
the
fake
one,
plant.
I know the one,
And like an
Right next to the
esky in the
pokies.
corner. Yeah, like,
right.
all yours, buddy.
They're
Fuck, this hallway shit.
becoming all
Hospital
the way
lights
from
and shit.
Sydney for this shit.
All right, I wanna do a little pivot right now and let's talk about the music.
A bit
bit.
of music.
And I'll start it here. Like ever since we met, and ever since I started listening to all of your like original music, or the first music I heard of you, like the more kind of fucking straight trap, drill, rap,
808 nursery rhyme.
808 nursery rhyme. I was always, I gotta say, I've always been a fan and I've always believed in it. But after you guys first started hanging out, because also I'll say that when we were looking for a DJ for you for the Oz Arena tour, you were like, "It's this guy Tasca," and I looked up this guy. I'm like, "What? This fucking hamburger?" I don't know, man. But then, but I came into the studio and you guys showed me some of the music that you guys are making together.
Yeah.
When I heard those first couple of MP3s that became tracks off Phase 1, that's when I first got really fucking excited. It was the collaboration of Tasca's production with everything that you're fucking bringing to the table. That was because it was I haven't ever heard anything like it before.
Yeah.
It's totally unique
Appreciate it,
sound.
brother.
It's fucking sick.
Thank you, brother. I mean, I feel like definitely like meeting Tasca, I was able to elevate tremendously music-wise, just like what we were saying before, like people with similar mind states and similar kind of drive, you know what I mean? Definitely two different people, but you know what I mean? We feed each other's hunger, we feed each other's drive, and we did that from day one. Our first session, how many songs did we did? Like two, three? Did we do?
Oh, yeah. Pumped out a couple.
Yeah.
Just in like a week or two, yeah.
And then we had a gig the same night of the first time us ever working together, and we performed all the singles that we worked on.
Yes.
Didn't know any of the lyrics, but yeah. Anyways, just elevated to a whole different level, and I just love where it's at now, especially with all the how it's evolved from Phase 1 to now, the Vicious and all the Westway stuff coming out, collabing with the whole team. You know what I mean? Like, it's phenomenal now. Just having, like, it feels good. Like, a lot of people get nervous when they see a bunch of riders on the back end. But it's like when I see all those names, I'm like, yo, that is so sick, because I remember all the moments somewhat.
Totally.
That everyone played a role in that room, you know what I mean? And we all had that moment.
Well, those sessions, those initial sessions where Seamus Krabs and myself became involved. I remember that was in the deep darkness of the very first lockdown, and there wasn't fuck all to do. But then we started going to the Sticky Beat Lab like almost every day, and it really became like a fucking PCYC. It's like a rotating cast of characters, you two being the main ones, really. and it just became the place for it was just for session, wasn't it? So like,
Yeah.
you know, like, 9 times out of 10, I'll say maybe that there's certain substances that aren't good for writing,
Yeah.
but these sessions broke that rule.
Yeah.
The excitement in the room, like writing Banter, I think was the first one, or was it Wishing Well? It's not called Wishing Well anymore.
was the
It's,
Banter was the first one.
yeah.
Bite
What's
the
Wishing Well
Bullet.
called now?
Bite the bullet.
Bite the Bullets. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just so much fun.
Thursday was our day. as
There
well.
also there's not
Thursdays.
It was
there's
Thursdays,
not
wasn't
a
it?
lot of producers that will put up with and endure and also consume what you endured and consumed for over
I think it's
12, 14-hour
it's
sessions.
because I just zone in.
You were in the pocket, man. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
And
I
you-
know that's how I work though. You know me.
Yeah,
like
100%.
I can't hold a conversation for like more than 10 seconds with some cunts because I'm like, and then it's like, wait, 14 hours staring at a screen.
Oh, that was the best day of my
The
life.
best day of my life.
Stuck in.
Yeah. This is good.
There was some energy in that room, though, wasn't there? It was like
yeah.
it was like we're writing shit and it's flowing and it's
Yeah.
just coming out.
And
it's
when you
like-
know it's good, you know
You
it's
know
good.
it's good.
That's what I've
Yeah.
even found, like, because we've done a few like interviews about banter, like post-release banter, Bite the Bullet, Lost Your Mind. I'm like starting to get in my head. I'm like, I really hope we captured that vibe because there really was a vibe to be captured. Which like I feel like I've written a lot of songs where it's like nah, whatever, but that was like a very special. It's hard to even explain. Which like when it's hard to explain things, you hope the music speaks.
It was
for you.
some
And I
real
feel like it
fast friends.
has.
It was
I
real
feel like it
fast
has.
friend stuff, wasn't it? Like,
It was just fucking like amazing, beautiful moments.
You know what was lovely as well was that after all of this, we all went up to the Grove because Scotty Horscroft, the absolute legend,
Shout out to Scott.
Shout out to
Nick
Scotty.
Loopy.
and Isaac and Nick Loopy. We all went up there and we got the rock star fucking Elliot Hammond on the Tubba Tubbas live tracking all the drums. We retracked all these guitars through all these like golden condensers and made everything spick and span. But then like we kind of listened to it and then just ended up rolling 99% with what we already made in the fucking dankness of the Beat Lab with the
100%,
with the chicken grease and the the hangovers and the ecstasy and the agony.
It's true. It's a real lesson.
We'd already captured it.
It's a real lesson in capturing the essence of
Yeah.
the time and the that energy there. It's like
Oh, totally.
when you try and recreate it, sometimes it's like you're maybe just wasting your time.
Yeah, because there's like 6, 7 people in the room usually, at like minimum.
At least,
At
yeah.
least. And like 3 people could only be there could only be 3 people who are like actually doing something on the song, whether it's Vox or like synth or something, but you know what I mean? Like, or instruments or something, you know what I mean? But it's like,
I just
it's dope to see like that essence captured just in that moment, and then it's also still dope to see us make 5 other versions, a live version without ever playing the song live,
Exactly.
an extended version. I think there's like a 7-minute version of Banter.
there is.
Is there?
I was just laughing to myself because like
This is amazing.
like
Keep it going, keep it
there
going.
was a 7-minute version of Banter where Krabs just. And I remember we're all there like with drums,
Yes!
like, our hands like conducting. I'm like,
Yes!
yes.
Changing the world. Changing the world.
Yeah, we're changing the world. We are.
With the people.
I was just laughing. I was just laughing because I forget which song it was. I remember opening up the session the next day with Paddy because Paddy's like, "How about you and I just hang out and we just, get rid of a bit of the madness."
Cut the fat.
And then we open up a project and there's these Gregorian chants of like
Oh my
10
God.
cunts. I think there's videos of it, and we're all like, oh. Over like something, and there's just a synth line going beep 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 beep.
For hours.
So like we threw everything at the wall. I feel like we just documented every single idea possible. Like if Paddy had even like a boop 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 boop, I'm like recording it, and then we would have to sift through like maybe 100 layers of
Literally.
ideas, and then that's we have these great songs. There's always method to the madness.
And there's about 19,000 unreleased tracks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That we
Yeah,
still
well-
have to tend to.
The writing process is like generally been pretty fun because
Yeah.
just run like just come in like let's do a ballad. You're like sweet.
Yeah.
Just throw anything at you. Like fuck yeah, boom. You just
Yeah.
get the assignment straight away. Like you're like it's a very symbiotic relationship with like writing between everyone here. Like you don't have to fucking say too much or tell someone to do too much. They bring their shit to the fucking table.
100%.
There's always so much love and respect in a Danté Knows session too in the room, just amongst everybody in there. Everybody gets a shot.
A lot of the beats started off as well. Like I think Bite the Bullet, it started off as you in the Coogee lab.
Yeah, my little shit house.
You're in the Coogee
corner?
lab cooking
The
up
Coogee boat ramp.
Yeah, the dusty corner.
So it's
Mate, some hits come out of there, buddy.
awesome.
You made basically the skeleton for that one, and then brought it through like, look, yeah, I've been tempering this at home, and then it got everyone nice and ready for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And then everybody, like Tasca was saying before, threw shit at the wall, and fuck, man.
Pretty much, Seamus will. I don't know how long he spent on those demos at home.
Me neither, honestly.
Probably not very long. But Seamus will get like a little drum loop, a guitar idea, and like another idea to go with it, and then he'll come in. He won't even bounce the stems out. He'll be like, Paddy, I don't know how to use Logic. Paddy will do it for him.
Well, you gotta see if you vibe it or not. You guys vibe the shit?
Yeah,
We're
vibe the
joining
shit.
it.
And we go, fuck yeah, we're vibing it. And then he goes, well, might just eat a couple gummies.
Do a stem bounce.
Yeah.
Make some pasta.
Let me know when to name again.
Sits there, and then like we'll spend the whole day, working on the song, and then it's like, give him the guitar. First line he plays is like the best thing you've ever heard, and he goes, "Did you get it?" I go, "Yep." Gives it back. Eats another gummy. He goes, "I go home. Might eat some pasta."
The bag's coming or what?
There's a lot of gummy talk around that time as well. We tripped over a gummy escapade. We fell into a gummy escapade around that time.
It's the way I like to be these days.
Yeah.
One thing I've also really admired is the way the sounds progressed, like it's always developing. I think that's something that Sticky always try to do, and I think it's exciting to see where it's going.
Appreciate it, brother.
Where do you think it's going? You don't know.
I don't know, and that's what I love about it. Because if I felt like I knew, I would try to change it to make it to a point where I don't know. But like, yeah, it's all in the air, and I mean, shit. Like as y'all know, like we still got like so much songs that we've been working on. We have stuff that's like we made around the same time as Banter and Bite the Bullet, and
It's
you know what I
freshies
mean?
from last week now as
Yeah,
well. Flowers,
freshies.
fuck's hot.
it just never stops, man. It never
I'm
stops.
starting to see a bit of like an idea of the album.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fucking cool. I don't know
100%.
much.
That'll be good.
Something I wanted to explain real quick, because I don't even know if we've ever even explained it so far. I guess it's still a very new journey. Is just the short and long of Westway and what it is and how it actually started. I guess what it was while we were recording all of his tunes with Dante and with Tasca and having a sick time down the lab. I guess meanwhile Dante was also getting I won't name names, but he was getting a few different label contracts slung his way, and they were just a bit embarrassing on their side, like 100%. How fucking just low and shit, and how much they were just trying to go for the big fish with a very small piece of bait. I don't know how you want to say it, but just like they were just like pretty rude contracts.
Just a classic music contract, yeah.
Yeah, pretty shit. And I don't know how the conversation evolved, but for those who don't know, Sticky's been independent since the very very beginning. Like, what's it been, 13, 14 years? So we've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I like to think that we're also learning from said mistakes too. So we're older, wiser, fatter, whatever.
growing up.
Not quite wearing a suit, but I'm not sure when we first had the idea, but we just kind of said, why don't we have a crack? Why don't we offer?
I think Loopy told us to actually.
Yeah, like why don't we start
true.
our own label,
Loopy's like, why don't you guys
And-
just fucking
sign Dante, and just
Well, it started
Just do
also
it.
having a label ourselves, right, for the Sticky stuff. And then
Right.
we're like, okay, so we've got this label. So should we just be a label?
and it's like, how do you start a label?
What
And
do
it's
you
like,
do?
We're a label now, I guess.
You just say it. You just say you're a label, and then you kind of take it from there. So admittedly, we're pretty green, but
Yeah.
we're giving it a red hot crack, and
But we're also
I'm enjoying myself. I hope you guys are too.
More than
we're also very anti-labels and stuff because, like you started off saying,
Not anymore, brother.
Yeah, not anymore. We love them. Well, just because the deals are shit. The deal's always shit. It's kind of like
Westway-
we never said we didn't want to be signed. It was just that the deals were always shit.
Ah.
That's why we're kind of like, you know,
True.
Westway's different,
Yeah,
buddy.
it's an artist label by artists for artists.
I was talking.
That was nice.
Oh wow,
I was saying
nice.
this-
That's it right there.
wow.
Can you say it again? Can we do a
Yeah,
zoom?
Go again. That was good.
It's artist label for artists by artists. Westway.
We the people.
I was saying to
For the
Dante this
people.
morning
For the people, we the people.
when we were packing for today. I was like looking around your room. I stole one of Seamus's guitar pedals. You said I could do that once upon a time.
Yeah.
And then I was looking around. I was like, oh, I need a strap. And I was like, oh, Paddy's bass. Ah, shit. And then I'm taking your strap off your bass in the studio. And then I was like, I turned around and said to Dante, I was like, look, sometimes I'm like, I should feel bad. I'm taking Paddy's strap. I'm taking a couple of things. But then I go, what would the boys do if they were signed to Warner? Do you reckon they would walk into the studio and just walk out, everything spick and span? There'd be a few things missing, I'll tell you that much.
I can't argue. I really
Walk
can't
back in.
argue.
There's one speaker here, and the table's gone.
Where's my fucking tube screamer?
I also want to ask as well. I don't think we ever touched base on this, but it's been publicly only a few months, but we know that the label's been started for over a year now. As that journey has been progressing, how do you feel? What's been your ups? What's been your downs?
Only ups. I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're just seeing it all kind of unravel now. Like with you hitting the road, finally releasing your EP and getting the album together. I feel like it's just such early days still.
Yeah.
My only down really was just insecurities in my mind of like, can I actually do this? Do I even know what the fuck I'm doing?
Yeah.
But like I've just been like, trying to gain knowledge by doing things like reading books like Alan McGee's creation stories and just seeing how, he started, with Primal Scream and with Oasis and everything else in between. And like, to be honest, it sounded like a very similar kind of organic kind of story. It feels like to start a label, you don't need to go and do a fucking university degree. You just kind of need to fucking just say, this is what we're doing. And let's just kind of like with everything else in life, you sort of pick it up and you take it in the right direction. Just day by day, just try and do your best to make it hot.
Yeah, 100%.
And have good taste. That's why creation was creation.
Yeah, and then try and not be a cunt, but then also be a total prick when it's appropriate.
But yeah, I mean, it's called a label, but I don't even know if that serves it justice because it's like what we started or the way this all worked is there's a studio, everyone writes music, let's write music together, let's release it. And it's kind of like that's more than what a standard label would provide.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of just bigger than that. It's different and it's kind of working from you now. It's like, well, fuck. Where do we go next? I don't know. It's just going to keep happening, right?
I don't see why the fuck not.
Exactly. Exactly.
I agree as well on that point you were making before. Like, even saying a label, like some people will ask, like even back home, if I haven't talked to someone in a while, they'll be like, "Oh, you signed?" And my first response is to go, "Oh no," but then I'm like, "Oh wait, I am signed." But then when I really think about it, it's like it's so like family oriented. Like I feel like even if you were to get like once you get other artists and whatnot, you know what I mean? They'll feel real comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Because yous only attract people that have the similar mind state, have a similar. You know what I mean? Similar upbringing as well. You know what I mean?
We got some ideas.
Man,
We got some
Similar
people.
drive.
I also like that your instinct is to feel like you're not signed because the last thing that we'd want to do to you or anybody else is make them feel like they're locked in on a contract when not necessarily even as bad as saying that they're not into what's going on, but the moment that something else doper came along for you, you wouldn't have to try and talk your way out of anything. We'd be the ones already pushing you out the door saying you got to go.
Tell your mum you signed though. She like that.
And
Always do that.
100%. And even just to run off that thought, and even if like something bigger was to come, you know what I mean? Like since I've never looked at this as like, oh, a business relationship, no matter what gets involved, money, this, that. Even if something bigger was to come, I wouldn't feel comfortable making that work without y'all being involved in it, if that makes sense.
100%.
'Cause why it feels like, even think about it, like you sent that contract over, I sent it over the next day. I didn't even want to read it. Obviously, you got to read it. You forced me to read it.
You got to read it.
Yeah, you got to read it.
You have to read it.
Yeah.
Always read a contract.
Take the lunch.
Always.
Always
Always
take the lunch.
Take the lunch.
Always
Take the lunch.
Take
Yeah.
the
Read
lunch.
the contract.
Freshly
Get
shucked oysters, please.
fucking blind.
Crown lagers.
Get blind.
I shall buy this place and fire you immediately. Install a fucking jukebox in here. Liven your stiffs up a bit.
Hell yeah. But yeah, man, it's family, man. Like Westway is nothing but a family. Everybody involved it's just family, and even all the new team members that are getting involved. Like you see, everyone slowly converting because they realize that no one here wakes up in the morning and goes, "Oh no, we got to do this today." Everyone's passionate about what they do, and I feel like coming across Westway, you get reminded that no matter what you're doing, you get reminded that, look, I'm doing this because I'm passionate about it. I'm not doing it because, I want to make the best money off of things. I'm doing this because if I died tomorrow doing this, you could say to everyone, I died happy. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I'm sure like a lot of Sticky fans, even listening to this podcast right now, like, wouldn't even know how much that these boys will just, be like, give their generosity at the drop of a hat, whether it's like, can I use your studio to rehearse? Yeah, sure. Can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? Like, and they'll just like, sometimes
Even a
whether
chat.
It's like, oh yeah, I need to chat to someone about something. Blah blah blah. These boys are so generous with their time, their talents, and and their resources as well, which is like, it's really hard to even stress how much it is actually
Unheard
a family
of.
thing. It reminds me of like my brother, like my actual brothers. You know what I mean? Who would do the same thing.
Shout outs to Jamin Tasca,
Yeah.
Shout outs.
who has directed not one but two Dante video
Yeah.
clips.
I don't know if
Yeah,
that makes
shout out
sense,
to
but
Jamie Taylor.
Yeah, fuck yeah,
just
cheers,
want,
bro.
I just want whoever's listening to know that it's actually incredible how generous and how much these guys
Thank you,
changed-
Tasky.
have changed
Thank
both
you, buddy.
Dante and
Brother.
my life.
100%. And if you've met them in person as well, you would know that.
Well, it's exciting, It's exciting seeing you come up, It's exciting to be part of that. I think that's also touching on what we were saying before. Like that's why we do this shit,
You're keeping
It's
me
like-
young, buddy.
You're keeping us young.
Sucking the
Keeping
blood
us
out
young,
of my
buddy.
skull.
All right, I got to do this real quick. So
I gotta
Vicious,
fuck up.
Vicious.
Dante's EP,
November 18th. I
November
believe.
18, dropping November 18, produced by none other than Tasca for Tasca.
Yes.
It's a 6-track EP,
6-track.
all delicious. Much more to come.
7 with the intro.
Oh,
Yeah,
7
with
with
the
the intro.
intro.
Yeah, so that's coming out November
technically
18.
An album.
Yep.
You got to check it out. And then, of course, the
Tour.
week later, your first headline tour.
Yeah, ever in life.
And it kicks off at the Red Rattler in Sydney on Friday, the 25th of November. Then we're off to the Gold Coast for the 1st of December. And you guys have been a little bit slow, by the way, so lay off the tins. Then we got the 2nd of December, the following night, up in Brisbane at the TOMCAT. 10th of December at Laundry Bar. And then that's a motherfucking wrap.
That's a wrap like that. And then
Yeah.
we go with y'all
Chicken
to
wrap.
overseas, whatever that is.
That's right.
Yep.
Whatever that looks like.
Yep.
But that headline tour is going to be fucking sick.
Yeah, it's going to be
It's gonna be
crazy.
good fun, eh?
Vicious tour, man. I don't want to sound like I'm in an infomercial, but your mom would like it. Your dad would like it. Your dog would like it. Throw it on his ears. Throw it on her ears. Throw it on their ears. I'll tell you this right now, Vicious, man. If you haven't seen us perform live, we're on the same page. I've never seen myself perform live as well. So I don't know how to explain my live set, but from what I've heard from people who have been, they appreciate what the trouble has to bring. So definitely get amongst that.
Get amongst that.
That EP, and listen to it first, and then decide if you want to come or not, man.
They're coming.
You're coming. If you're hearing this, you're coming.
Crabs, you want to see us out?
Well, everybody, that was the Big Boppa.
Oh, that's not how it goes. Is that how it goes?
I don't know.
Oh,
Should I say some more?
A little bit more.
oh, drum roll,
That
drum
was
roll, or
strong. That was
something.
strong. That was strong. Yeah, yeah.
You meant a few words, crap.